Good day, everyone, and welcome to our new lesson for today. Today we will discuss about the American colonization. Sa aralin na ito ay tatalakayin natin ang mga kaganapan sa Pilipinas sa ilalim ng pananakop ng Amerika. Ano nga ba ang naging punot dulo kung bakit tayo nasakop ng mga Amerikano? American colonizations of the Philippines. The Spanish-American War, which started in Cuba, changed the history of the Philippines. Isa ang bansang Cuba sa mga bansang sakop ng Espanya na bahagi ng Timog Amerika. And just like the people of the Philippines, Cuba also wanted totally independence. Kaya, patuloy nilang ipinaglalaban ito. Sa kasagsagan ng digmaan sa pagitan ng Espanya at Cuba, President McKinley sent USS Maine to Havana to ensure the safety of American citizens and interests and to underscore the urgent needs for reform. Isa din kasi ang bansang Amerika sa bansang nakakapalitan ng mga produkto ng Cuba in terms of sugar industry. Kung kaya, ganoon na lamang ang kanilang pagkikare sa mga Cubano. On May 1, 1898, the Americans, led by U.S. Navy Admiral George Dewey in participations of Emilio Aguinaldo, attacked the Spanish Navy in Manila Bay. At the time of Spanish-American War, General Emilio Aguinaldo was in Singapore where he had negotiation with the American regarding Americans offer to support the Philippines in fighting the Spaniards. Nangakong makukuha ang kalayaan na ang bansang Pilipinas once na matalo ang pwersa ng mga Espanyol. At bago pa man dumating si Aguinaldo sa Pilipinas, nagsimula na ang labanan sa pagitan ng Espanya at Amerika noong May 1, 1890. May 1, 1898. On June 12, 1898, the Philippines Declaration of Independence was proclaimed in Cavite Viejo, a present day of Cavite. The event saw the unfurling of the national flag of the Philippines, made in Hong Kong by Marcela Agoncillo, Lorenza Agoncillo, and Delfina Herbosa. And the performance of the Marcha Filipina Magdalo as the national anthem, now known as Lupang Hinirang, which was composed of Julian Filippi and played by San Francisco Malabon Marching Band. Next is the Act of Declaration. The Act of Declaration of Independence was prepared, written, and read by Ambrosio Rienzares Bautista. Ang deklarasyon ay nilagdaan ng 78 katao kasamang isang American Army officers na si Mr. L. M. Johnson bilang witness sa nasabing proklamasyon. After the proclamations of the Philippines and independence, Apolinario Mabini became the advisor of the General Aguinaldo. changed the form of government from dictatorial to revolutionary. So and this time Aguinaldo became the president of the revolutionary government, and katuwang niya dito ay si Apolinario Mabini. So, nagpatawag ng pulong at bumuo ng miyembro na siyang magtataguyod ng kanilang kongreso o pamahalaan. Dito na nagsimula ang pagkakaroon ng sistema o sariling sistema o gobyerno ng bansang Pilipinas na pinangunahan ni Aguinaldo, at kabilang na dito ang katuwang niyang si Apolinario Mabini. This declaration was opposed by the U.S., who had plans of taking over the colony, and this led to a guerrilla war against the America. Hindi kinalala ng Estados Unidos o ng Amerika maging ang mga Spanish ang proklamasyon o araw ng kalayaan na mga Pilipino na pinangunahan ni Aguinaldo, dahil para sa mga Amerikano isa itong indikasyon lamang iyon ng pagpapatuloy ng kolonyalismo, pero this time sa pamamahala naman ng Amerika. And faced with defeat, the Philippines was ceded to the United States by Spain in 1898 after a payment of US $20 million to Spain in accordance with the Treaty of Paris, ending the Spanish-American War. So, ang nangyari, nagiba ang ihip ng hangin. So, ang dating kakampi ng Pilipinas na bansang Amerika, unti-unti nang naging kaaway nito. Mula sa pagkakatalo ng Espanya sa Amerika, tuluyan na nilang isinuko ang Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng Treaty of Paris. Ang Treaty of Paris ay ginanap noong 1898. Sa kasunduang Treaty of Paris, ipinagbili ng Espanya ang Pilipinas sa halagang $20 million, and it was argued that the Philippines would simply fall into the hands of Germany or other countries if US forces left the region, since the Filipino were unprepared to govern themselves. So, kung hindi tayo napunta sa US noon, pinag-aagawan tayo ng iba pang mga bansa na magpapatuloy ng pananakop. It's either Germany or iba pang mga countries. So, dahil dito tinutulan syempre ng maraming mga Pilipino, pero hindi napilit ang bansang Espanya nang mabalitaan nito pero hindi napigil ang bansang Espanya na mabalitaan ito ni Aguinaldo. Agad niyang ipinadala sa Paris si Felipe Agoncillo. So, si Felipe Agoncillo, isa siyang diplomat na kinakatawan sa Pilipinas, ngunit pagdating niya sa Paris ay hindi siya nagtagumpay na mapigilan ang sunduan sa pagitan ng Amerika at Espanya. Kung kaya't tuluyan ng napasakamay ng Amerika ang bansang Pilipinas. So, the American-Philippine War. So, dahil tuluyan ng napasakamay ng bansang Amerika ang Pilipinas, nagkaroon ng panibagong dispute o panibagong war sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa at ito ay tinatawag nating the Philippines-American War since 1898 to 1946. So alamin natin kung paano nakawala ang Pilipinas sa pananakop ng Amerika. Hostilities broke out on February 4, 1899 after a two American private Sun patrol killed 3 Filipino soldiers in San Juan in Manila suburb. So in this incident start the Philippines-American War, which would cost farmer lives in the Spanish-American War. So, nang dahil sa insidente iyon, nag-request ng isang paglilitis para malaman kung sino talaga ang nagsimula ng gulo. Ito ba ay ang kampo ng mga Amerikano o ang kampo ng mga Filipino soldiers? So, nang dahil doon, ipinag-utos ni General MacArthur na lumusob ang mga Amerikano sa mga Pilipino kahit na wala pang formal na pagsisiyasat. At ito ang lubos na ikinagalit ni Aguinaldo. Dahil dito, nakiusap si Aguinaldo kay Elwell Otis na iwasan ang labanan kung maaari. No? Pero, nabanggit ni Eloise na kailangan na ipagpatuloy ang labanan dahil sa ito ay nasimulan na. At ayon sa investigasyon ni Felipe Buencameno, sinadya ng tropa o ng kampo ng Amerikano ang pagpapakutok sa mga Pilipino na nag-cause ng digmaan. Pero, gaano nga ba kalawak ang digmaang Pilipino at Amerikano? So, some 126,000 American soldiers would be committed to the conflict. 4,234 Americans died, as did 16,000 Filipino soldiers who were part of the nationwide guerrilla movement of indeterminate numbers. So at least 34,000 Filipino lost their lives as a result of the war. As a result of the war, and as many as 200,000 may have died as a result of the cholera epidemic at the war's end. So free trade established by an act of 1909 was expanded in 1913. So when we say free trade, it's all about increasing prosperity for Americans and citizens of all participating nations, wherein people are allowed to buy more better quality products at cost. At isa sa mga advantages nito is that it drives economic growth. Maliban dyan, it also enhances efficiency, it increases innovations, and the greater fairness that accompanies a role-based system. So, influence of the uselessness of further resistance, he soared allegations to the United States and issued a proclamation calling on his compatriots to lay down their arms, officially bringing the end of war. Aguinaldo resolved the regular army in November 1899 and ordered establishment guerrilla commands in each several military zones. So, isa na nga sa hirap ang mga Amerikano na ma, mapasunod, no? Mapasunod ng mga panahon na iyon ay ang mga Moro dahil maliban sa meron silang preserve, ayaw talaga nilang magpasailalim sa mga mananakop. Kung kaya't ah, naging hirap ang mga Amerikano noong mga panahon na iyon. So, the Revolutionary was effectively ended with the captured 1901 of Aguinaldo by General Frederick Funston at Palanan, Isabela on March 23, 1901 and was brought to Manila. However, sporadic insurgent resistance continued in various parts of the Philippines, especially in the Muslims. So sa pagtatapos, no, sa pagtatapos ipinakita na after na masakop na talaga tayo ng mga Amerikano, nagtatag na sila ng panibagong sistema na susundin ng kalahatan. And at the same time, dito na rin nag-start na kung saan naglaan sila ng effort. No, para ma-introduce na din ang edukasyon sa mga Filipino. So, sa pamamagitan ng pagpapadala ng mga US teachers na siyang nagtuturo sa mga Filipino, and at the same time, nagkaroon din ng land distribution na dating hindi ginawa ng mga Espanyol, no? Sa panahon ng mga Amerikano, i-distribute na ilan sa mga lupain na dapat intended lamang siya para pagtayuan ng simbahan. Pero ang nangyari, i-distribute ito ng bansang Amerika, lalo na sa mga nangangailangan, para na rin mapalakas ang agrikultura o ang tinatawag nating ekonomiya. Okay? Now, let us proceed to the U.S. colony. So, civil government was established by the Americans in 1901 with William Howard Taft as the first American government general of the Philippines. So, also, the Catholic Church was established and a substantial amount of church land was purchased and redistributed. So some measures of Filipino self-rule were allowed. However, an elected Filipino legislature was established in 1900. So, let us proceed. Okay. So, let us proceed to the Japanese occupation. General Homa allowed the laws then in force in the Commonwealth to stay for a moment, he ordered all public officials to continue to discharge their duties. So Jose Vargas, who was then the mayor of the Greater Manila, he had been instructed by the President Quezon and General MacArthur to cooperate with an enemy. So Vargas ensured to have peace and order and maintained public utilities such as water, electricity, and transportation restored. Vargas is the executive commissioners of the Central Administrative Organizations of Occupied Philippines. So, wherein he had to coordinate the activities of all existing administrative departments of the Philippines and to see that all the Japanese commander in chief were carried out. So Vargas ensured to have a peace and order, imposition of curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and finally from midnight to 6 a.m. from 8:18 onwards. So blackout in Bataan was lifted on May 4, 1942. Arbitrary arrests and executions were done by the Kempitay military police any time of the day. Many were executed on a mere suspicion of being with the resistant movements. Other offenses punishable by death were arson, murder, robbery, spreading rumors against the Japanese forces, cutting military lines of communications, spying and printing of anti-Japanese leaflets. So by violations of Japanese orders and laws were considered hostile acts which meant death penalty. So the schools also were again made open to public. And Japanese language and cultures are taught and disseminated. So also worsening food crisis, the people suffered from deprivation and starvation. Therefore, the Department of Finance of the Japanese military administrations controlled all the existing banks. So the new peso bills look like play money. That is what we call a Mickey Mouse money. So since the highest denominations was 10 pesos, more bills were acquired to buy basic necessities as prices soared high. So a severe inflation set in as supplies ran low. A railroad train became a common vehicle of smuggling rice to the city of Tutuban Station. So therefore, another trade that prospered during the era was making of fake and forgeries. So that is due to scarcity of food, just like that, medicine and basic services. Thousands died of malaria, malnutrition, tuberculosis, and other diseases. In the midst of turmoil, still there were Filipinos who kept their faith in God and waited for the liberations of the country. So that was the things that happens during these Japanese occupations that is under the American colonization. So now let us proceed to the Philippines president. Okay, so the president of the Philippines is the head of the state government and government of the Republic of the Philippines. So they are the head of the state and government. So our first republic, Malulus Republic, the first dictatorships since 1899 is to 1901 is Emilio Aguinaldo. In January, start from January 23, 1899 to April 1901. The second one is the Commonwealth American era since 1935 to 1944. So, it was Manuel L. Quezon. Nag-start siya from November 15, 1935 to August 1, 1944. Our third one is a Second Republic or the Japanese occupation since 1943 to 1945. It was Jose P. Laurel. So, nag-start siya from October 14, 1943 to August 14, 1945. So, next to that is a Commonwealth restored. Since 1944 to 1946, it was Sergio Osmeña. So, nag-start siya from August 1 to May 28, 1946. So, for the Third Republic post-American era since 1946 to 1972, start is Manuel Acona Rojas, a fifth president. He is also the first president of the independent, the Third Republic of the Philippines since 1946 to 1948. It was inaugurated on July 4, 1946, the day that the U.S. government granted political independence to its colony. Second to that is Elpidio Rivera Quirino, the sixth president. Is also the second president of the Third Republic since 1948 to 1953. Next to that is Ramon del Ferro Magsaysay. So, he is the seventh president and the third president of the Third Republic since 1953 to 1957. So, he is known as the president of the masses. So, during his term, he made Malacanang Palace literally a house of people, opening its gates to the public. So, next one is Carlos Polistico Garcia. So, Carlos is eighth president. He was also a fourth president of the Third Republic since 1957 to 1961. So, he is known for his Filipino first policy, which puts an interest of the Filipino people above these foreigners and of the ruling party. So, he was a Filipino teacher also, a poet, orator, a lawyer, and a public officials, and a guerrilla leader. Next to that is Diosdado Pangan Macapagal, our ninth president. He is also the fifth president of the Third Republic of the Philippines since 1961 to 1965. He's also known as incorruptible. So, next to that is Ferdinand Emmanuel Idralin Marcos. Our 10th president is also the sixth president of the Third Republic since 1965 to 1986. So, it is generally known that Marcos had the most infrastructure and constitutional accomplishments, which were equivalent to those former presidents of the Philippines. So, here we go. This is Ferdinand Emmanuel Idralin Marcos. Next is Maria Corazon Corisomolong Cuangco Aquino, our 11th president of the Philippines, and she is also the first female president of the Fifth Republic since 1986 to 1992. He is also known as the icon of democracy. Next to that is Fidel Valdez Ramos, our 12th president, and is also a third president of the Fifth Republic Philippines. So, he's the first Protestant president of the country. Next is Joseph Ejercito Estrada, our 13th president, our third president of the Fifth Republic since 1999 to 2001. He has gained popularity as a film actor, playing the lead role in over 100 films and an acting career spanning 33 years. So one of his achievements is having Irap para sa Mahirap project. Next to that is Maria Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, our 14th president. She is also the fourth president of the Fifth Republic, and she's a second female president. Next to that is Benigno S. Aquino, the third or 15th president of the Philippines since 2010 to 2016. So he is also known as Pinoy. And lastly, we have Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So he is our 16th president of the Republic of the Philippines since 2016 to 2022. So those mentions names are the Philippines president. So in summary, the American colonizations of the Philippines began in 1898 after the United States defeated Spain in the Spanish-American War. The Treaty of Paris was signed on December 10, 1898, which granted the United States control over the Philippines. So at the same time, the President of the United States was William McKinley. He believed that it was America's duty to civilize and Christianize the people of the Philippines. However, the people of the Philippines had different ideas. Led by Emilio Aguinaldo, they declared independence. They declared independence from Spain on June 12, 1898, and established the first Philippines Republic. So, the Philippine-American War broke out in 1899, and it lasted until 1902. So, the Filipinos fought valiantly against the American forces, but they were eventually defeated. So, one of the most notorious events of this Philippine-American War was the Balangega Massacre. So, in 1901, the Filipinos launched surprise attack on American soldiers in the town of Balangega. So, the Americans retaliated by killing thousands of people, including women and children. So the American colonizations of the Philippines lasted for almost 50 years. And during that time, the Philippines underwent the significant changes, both positive and negative. So the Filipinos learn um yes, so it was also learn English and were introduced to modern technology. They also suffered through war and colonial oppression. So that will be all in my report. So I hope you've learned something with regards to the Philippines history and government, which is the American colonizations, the Japanese occupations, and also to the introductions of the Philippines president. So that would be all, and thank you for listening.